Welcome to our Trading Open live room. I'm Ken Calhoun, your host, president of the original Day Trading University and Trading Open. As always, in today's session, all information is for educational use only. We're not making advice about what to buy, sell, or hold. Do focus on developing skills that can help improve your trades potentially. And these are the top skills that in 21 years I've trained many thousands of folks in, and I would urge you to work on which you may just be one or two skills away from being more successful. And odds are you're probably pretty good at a few of these. Work from a position of strength, personal power, personal strength. Maybe you're really good at scanning and setting entries, but you're not so good at the trade management on the exits or the timing skills or tape reading. Anyway, there's a lot to learn. We'll see which way things run coming up in today's markets, but do evaluate yourself on each of these skills, because you may just be a missing link, one chart or one skill away from doing well in your trades. Probably two or three, and that's fine. Like any profession, you're going to have some that you're good at and some that you need improvement in. Do be conscientious about improving your skills in those areas. With my help here in the room, as you may ask questions or see examples of what's working. Enough PowerPoint. Anyway, let's take a look at today's list. We start off with our S&P. You can see that we've got a minor gap continuation. That's a particularly bullish setup in our current market. You notice that our trend, our ARMS index yesterday afternoon closed off relatively bullish at 0.75. We'll see if we get continued bullish price action in today's markets. My favorite ETF of the day is our gold miner ETF, GDX, because it's got a 45-degree angle previous day's chart and a nice little gap run here. See how it's starting to run up here? So we'll see if it's able to take out new highs coming up in today's markets. We cycle through today's charts. We got just around 5-6 minutes till the opening bell. DraftKings has a spectacular chart pattern. Looks like a news play. That's what that vertical line is here. Whenever you see that, that means there was good news and they bought it up. And what counts is what's the reaction after the initial move. And this was a bullish reaction. They bought it up all afternoon long, and it's holding its afternoon price range up here. So we'll see if it breaks out to new highs later in today's session. That's a particularly good chart, DKNG. So our long trigger is 50.20, and the short trigger is 46.30. I realize a lot of you don't short, so that's fine, but for those of you who do, I'd like to provide bonus coverage on that particular strategy. Pin gaming, we have a 67.7 long trigger. I set a short trigger at 64.8. Other noteworthy charts today that we'll be following for you are MRNS. I usually hate these under $10 crappy junk stocks, but occasionally they'll come to life and they'll run up. So if it breaks over 380 and again over 4, we'll see if it's worth a shot. MRNS. I was trading Sava yesterday, but I got stopped out. I tried to do a 100-share trade, like break-even stop or close to within 10 or 20 cents, buying the first sign of a breakout and then getting stopped out. And then it runs 2 points without me. Anyway, we'll see which way Sava runs today. It was a nice run up. Yesterday, a trader mentioned it, and I called a short at 840 for you, and that worked out spectacular. When it was up here, I said we short if it gets under 840, and that ran down 2 points for you, over 2 points. That was a nice downside winner in Sava. We'll see where it goes today. Currently, it's right near 720. Another noteworthy chart is Vxrt. Now, this one would have been treacherous to day trade scalp style yesterday because of all the up and down price action. But for an intraday swing trade where you put on the trade at a new high and put a stop down under the pre-market low and then close it off at 334, that strategy would have worked out great for this one. So we want to see if we can get a repeat of that today. Vxrt, for now, the trigger is way up at a 2-day at 870. experienced traders, we can tighten that up to 820. $820 on that guy. Nickel also of interest, doing kind of a descending triangle here in the chart. So not too excited. It's like, hey, wake me if it gets over 35, right? So we got a 35.4 long trigger. Now directional ETFs, SPXL, it's way up here. The long trigger is 55.7, 557 on SPXL. And on TNA, it's 33.7. That's an especially strong looking chart. Now that's a little early. That may be subject to a false breakout because it's so close to the breakout region, but it's either that or wait for somewhere over 34. So I think the lesser of two evils would be to take the shot at 33.7 in TNA. For the bearish reversal camp, UVXY long triggers way up at 26, 20.6. S triple Q, it's at 25.20. Let's tighten that up, 24.4. The reason for that is would be a pivot above the previous support line near 24.4 that occurred earlier in the session. So that's our spiders. We always keep a really close eye on this. If you have an ES E-mini chart, it's going to look the same, but that's fine to look at. You do want to always follow the SPY or the ES E-mini futures chart pre-market, so you can see the magnitude of any gap in the stock market and also the direction and the volatility. So that kind of gives you a preview of what the market looks like before the opening bell, which is coming up in just around 30 seconds. So again, welcome aboard, traders. Good to see so many new faces. We're at a near record-breaking attendance level. So more subscribers today than at any other time in my company history, save I think the year 2000 or 2001. So I've been running the room for over 20 years. I'm old as dirt, it feels like. What the fudge? Anyway, here we go. Market opens in 3, 2, 1, wheels up. Ding, ding, ding. Game on. Now we follow and see which charts break out sooner rather than later. Hey, John and Roger. And Jesus, thanks. Oh, thanks, Jesus. I appreciate that. Saying more people making the right choice. I don't do a lot of advertising. I probably should, but more than enough people here to make me happy, so I give you my best. Yeah, NEO I had pulled up earlier. Looks good at 19.4. I pulled this one up and good call. Thanks, trader, for the heads up. And NEO, we go long if it gets over 19.4. The first thing we do is see where's the green. Always what I do is I isolate or I target, in the percent column, the PCT column, what's the most green, because these all are percent change from open calculated, which gives us a really spectacular relative strength profile. And it sorts it for you too. I have it sort every couple of minutes. So SPXL, alert long SPXL if it gets over 55.7. Alert is imminent. We're currently tailing up here. It's not up there yet, but it's trying to get the party started. So we'll see if, like the spiders and the S&P, we get some buyers. Keep TNA 33.7 on the radar as well. Some sell pressure. Oh no, Mr. Bill. S triple Q, baby, 24.4 if it hits. I got a protective stop in my open swing trade at 23.7, just in case you're curious. Where would I stop out? So I'm still in a few shares. I'm going to sell like just 30 at 23.7. I'm eager to rebuy this on any bounce, but we're not getting much of a bounce yet. We're getting a breakout in the stock market. SPXL is taking on new highs. Looks like our picks today selling down a bit. That's fine because I haven't hit our long triggers. Interesting divergence. These charts, which were really good yesterday, getting sold down here a bit today. We'll see where things run. NKLA short trigger would be 31.30. Inverse gold dust play would be along over the previous day's low, because that's a trigger point that's likely to draw in high frequency trading algos over 1620. So let's push the long trigger up at 16.3. We go long our inverse gold instrument if it gets over 1630. Look like pin is dropping. I called it short at 64.80. If anyone took that, congrats. Use a break-even cover stop on it right here if it bounces over the 80. Next short would be 63.80. DraftKings, the short is 46.30. Experienced traders only might want to take a long shot at 47.7 on this guy. NEO looks good. NIO, the long trigger is 19.4. Everything else getting beaten down. Let's see. Pin 64.8 short was good. 63.8 would be the next short trigger. MRNS just dropping. Let's follow up with these charts and see which ones are taking on new highs. Dust is up nicely. 1630 would be a long call in it. We'll see if he goes up. In the first few minutes of the stock market, it's important to kind of see which way the wind blows. Which way is the S&P moving after 935? Remember, the first few minutes, 930 to 935, should be avoided by all but the most experienced traders because you often get whipsaws and reversals because you have market on open order flow right at 930, the MOO order flow, also known as moo, orders like a cow, moo, market on open order flow, which often whipsaws around. So One important tip is if you find yourself getting shaken out of trades early in the morning, wait until after 9:35, like right now, or 9:40. Wait till after 9:35. Anyway, the S&P is taking out new highs, or it's trying to at least. These spiders are up here near 341.6. Technical resistance is at 341.8, and it looks like it should saw right through that. Our SPXL long trigger is 55.7. What you want to follow is always follow markets first, right? Follow the broad market, see what it's telling you about the relative strength of any breakouts or pivots, and then look for new trade setups as things start to do price action runs through our key support and resistance levels. So for example, for an intraday swing trade, you'd go long at 557 and put a hard stop down at say 54.7. Or just use a $1 trailing stop. And I'm getting a single share trade set up in my account right now as we speak for that. Nickel, a high day breakout alert. Whenever you see the green box flash in that last column behind the price, that means it's a high of day. They may look at this and be confused and say, wait, that's not the high of the day. The high looks like 34.5, but that's pre-market. That's the in-market high of day is what we're, after 9:30, the in-market high of day is what we're triggering right now. In KLA, long trigger is 35.40. Keep an eye on that one to see if it keeps going up. Looks like I'll start getting stopped in some of my inverses. You'll probably see those flash in the lower right corner of the workstation here. So who's got some strong recent green candles? This guy does. The SPXL does. That Neo chart certainly does. It's way up here. Long trigger 19.4 looks like it hit and it's pulled back. Next long would be 19.6. And I'd play this as an intraday swing. Let's say 1880 is support. If you're scalping, I would use just a 20-cent trailing stop at night or hard stop at 1920. The next long would be 1960 in Neo. DraftKings is finally starting to print green. The long trigger is way up at 47.7. That just hit. And it's starting to work out. If you're in it, it's in the money, just almost, well, a dime or whatever. We'll see if it keeps going up. Use a break-even stop. I'm a big fan of break-even exits. And then re-enter over 48, say 48.20. So if it goes down to 47.7, get back out at break-even. You're currently over 20 cents in the money. It's starting to work out. You don't want to ring the register yet, but do trail a stop. Looks like I got to fill on the S&P ETF. I should have put in triggers for the everything, but I just don't have time to update all the alerts. But anyway, looking good. Pin Gaming trying to get its bounce on. A risky earlier entry would be a momentum play, would be long if it gets over 65.7. It's kind of late to the pivot party though. It bounced off 64, right? I'd called the short at 64.8. You could have covered anywhere on the way down there to 64. Now it's starting to bounce. You may want to reshort if it loses 64.8 or if you haven't shorted it yet. Short if it loses 64.8, long if it gets over 65.7. And that's PENN, P-E-N-N, the ticker. Nickel continues to climb for you. 35.40 is a long trigger. Let's tighten that up to 34.7. Let's see which way it runs. I'm in the process of testing with just small single share trades, a wider stop strategy. So I canceled the earlier initial one that was way up at the 2-day high and replaced it with the 34.7 trigger. In the meantime, a big booyah for the SPXL traders. 557 hit. We'll see if it keeps going up. Next long, you could try 558 and then again 5620. $24.10 long, hard stop at 23.9. I'll put them out there. Let's see if this. I'm gonna have to use 24.20 myself. No, actually I can use the 10, okay. Nope. If you can't get a fill at the 10, use 24. 15 is fine, that's what I'm gonna use. So let's make the official 24.15 or 24.10. Hard stop at 23.9. So long if it gets over 24.15. Or if you're in from 24.10, that's fine. Still use 23.9 as a hard stop value. Looks like GDX is alive and kicking after all, right? Trying to bounce here a little bit. Choppy open here. Neo, boom, 19.4 is a long call. I wish I'd traded that myself, but thanks Roger for the heads up on that, man. 19.4, you're 24 cents in the money, or 21 cents in the money. I wish I traded that myself, but I was scanning through and updating my other alerts. Well, anyway, if you guys took 19.4, ka-ching, sell half now because we got 20 cents out of it, and trail a stop at break even on the rest. So if you didn't, say 600 shares at 19.4, you'd be selling 300 shares now, trailing a stop at 19.4 in the balance. If you've done a regular lot, done 1,000 shares, you'd be selling 500 now and trailing a stop at break even on the rest. Next long, I don't have any violent objection in 19.7, but my official call was 19.4, and that's a good play. It's starting to work out for you. Well, thanks, Roger. I appreciate it, man. Saying I learned everything from you. My SPXL may stop out. Let's see, I've got a $1 trailing stop. I bought 55.7. I'll stop out at 54.7. I'm testing out a wide stop, tiny share size strategy. Anyway, Neo's working out great. Nice tape. Look at time and sales. Main thing to follow is price, of course, and it's starting to show a little more red than green. So that means, at least for now, I'd be a little cautious. And the stock market's going down. See those 4 red candles in the lower right corner? There was 4 red candles. We're still in an uptrend, but I'd play it tight. Trail a stop on all Neo at 19.6. We're in from 19.4. Sell it all, Mortimer, if it gets to 19.59, 58, 57, and so forth. Rebuy over 19.7. Still a nice directional explosive breakout in Neo, but I would be taking some profit here. In fact, because it's slowing down here, new traders may want to sell all now. Experienced traders, again, sell half now, trail a hard stop at 19.6 on the rest. But thanks to Trader Roger. We got so many smart traders here. It's good to have teamwork. See the taper at 61 on the inside, 60, now we're at 60. A couple of prints at 59, but nothing significant yet. I'll tell you when to sell it all. By the way, 1 or 2 trades does not a tape reversal make. You need to see at least 8 to 10 seconds worth of price action at a given point for it to count. 1 or 2 out trades that does not a reversal make. So we're still long, but if we start to print any meaningful size under 19.6, we'd go to cash. 19.4 is our long trigger, and it's still running up for you, so that's cool. Good breakout. Da-da-da-da-da, charge. Now again, a whole number trading strategy is one in which you buy somewhere right above a whole number. This is kind of late above a whole number, 19.4. Still a winning alert, so that's good. But you'd sell into the high portion of the number. So the closer we get to 20, the more skeptical you'd be that it's able to break over 20. You would tighten in your trailing stop accordingly. Now right now we're using 19.6 as a trailing stop to lock in a minimum 20-cent profit. If it runs up over 19.80 or up at 19.90, we would tighten up our trailing stop even closer to play it carefully. MRNS looks like along over 330, right? At least in the thumbnail chart, it looks like 330 might be a pivot long, right? In the bottom portion of the window here. Long MRNS over 3.3. So I canceled the earlier 2-day high breakout. And I replaced it with a 330 long trigger that just got filled. Neo, baby, I love this chart. Now the thing is, we got a topping tail. Trail is stopped now at 1970. I got you guys in at 19.4. Sell it all if it loses 1970. That was our secondary entry as well. So that's also in the money for you. Okay, you may want to sell half now to book a profit and trail a stop at 1970 on any remaining shares. So if we start to see 69, 68 transactions print in the tape, we go to cash. We're currently at 675 by 70, now 73 by 4. You start to see 1968s and 9s here. We go to cash, we book a profit, and our work is done here, Grasshopper. Now, the further it gets close to 20, the more skeptical we are. It's going to reverse any second now, right? So again, new traders may want to book a profit now. Experienced traders wait till it loses 19.7 and then sell it all. Take the money to the bank. Paper trading, that is. Well, to be continued. Anyway, use 1970 as a trailing stop. How far will it run? But thanks, Roger, for the big win of the day. We got a 40 center out of that guy, which is good on a $19 stock. By the way, in case you're wondering, for day trade, for stocks under 30 bucks, anything over 40 cents is a big win. So anything over 30, 40 cents is great. Now, a dollar is even better, but we don't have that happen all the time, especially on the cheap stocks. But a nice 40, 50 cent winner, bangerang. Now trail a stop at 1980. What you do is you tighten in your trailing stop. The further something runs in your favor to lock in a profit, the tighter you trail a stop. So if you start to see 1979, 1978s, you go to cash. You should have your finger on the mouse button, ready to hit the bid if it loses 1980. Or even better, just use the sell stop order in your demo account to sell it all if it loses 1980. Okay, we hit the 90. Mission accomplished, gang. Boom. New traders absolutely positively sell, 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 sell. House of pain. Experienced traders, sell this guy if it loses 1985. Tightening up uber tight trailing stops. So mission accomplished. We knocked it out of the park, and thanks to Roger for that. 19.4 is a long call. 19.9 the sell. That's a 50 center, and that's great. I wish I traded that myself. But for those of you who traded it, great. If it loses 1985, everybody cash out for sure. We're on the edge there. I think there we go, some 84s. Let's cash it out, gang. Boom, sell it all now. Mission accomplished. And that's how you day trade, like a boss. I call the exact fucking top, like a champ. Calhoun's whole number strategy in effect, and Roger's call, and good teamwork, man, so thanks. By the way, DraftKings is running like a champ too. I wish I'd updated my own trade to 47.7 where I said to go long. DKNG 47.7, good for a nice, big, huge, near 1 point run. Trail a hard stop at 48.50 on this. If you got in at 47.7, I want you to trail a stop at 48.5. Now, actually belay that, make that 48.70. I want you to lock in a 1 point win. Because 1 point wins kick the market's ass. Boom, nailed it. I said to go long 47.7. If you took it, you're $1 in the money. New traders, sell it all now. Sell, sell, sell. Experienced traders, trail a stop at 48.7. It looks like we're dinking around up there. Let's not be greedy. Let's cash it in. Let's cash it all out. Sell it all now. Next long would be, say, 49.7, and then my early trigger that I've got to trade for is set up as way up at 50.20. But sell it all. Does everyone see why now is a clear time to sell? Because we're at the previous day's high and because I ran a freaking point for you. So you got a point out of it. Take the point. You got you in at 47.7, 48.7. How much money would that be worth to you if you had actually listened to me and gotten your 1-point winner out of DraftKings today? Muhaha. Walking on sunshine, Neo continues to take out new highs. I wouldn't be dinking around and chasing it way up here though. It looks like it's been good for a run. I got you in at 19.4 on the long and out at the 1980, 1990 area up here. This is a good place to sell it all. Short trigger for experienced traders would be 19.7. All right, Felix, sure thing. Let's take a look at Roku. Little pricey though, right? It's a great chart, but again, it's late to the party. I would short a loss of 167. I'd wait till it to break over 170 before going long. So I'd use specifically, I'd use 170.4 for a long trigger. Again, not a trade recommendation, just a chart pattern resistance trigger using a whole number strategy. So 170.4 would be the earliest I'd go long. And I'd be more keen on shorting this on a loss of 167. So say 166.80 or so would be a short trigger. MRNS, ba-da-dum, charge. I got us in, including me at 330. It's starting to bounce. Tighten up a stop to break even, right? Again, my 20-cent rule is, and especially valuable for those of you who scalp larger sizes, remember this for the rest of your life. Once something runs 20 cents or more in your favor, sell not all of it, but at least half the position just to bank a profit so you get paid for half the trade. Because it's very frustrating as a trader to just take stops and not make wins. So small wins are a good way to get started. So once you get a 20-center under your belt, sell half and then trail a stop at break even on the remaining half share. So that way you're playing with the house's money on half the trade and you're in the money and booked a profit on the first move up. Trail a stop now at 350, 350. I got you in and got me in at 330. Trail a stop at 350. Nice winning alert for you guys who took it. You're up almost 30 cents in the trade. If it gets back under 350, sell it all. Cash it out. Ring the register. Good no BS honest alerts that actually work. Hey, what an amazing thing that is. What else do we have going on here? Nickel is trying to climb. The long trigger is 34.7. I do have my alert set there, my trade set there. It hasn't triggered yet. It pulled back off resistance at 34.50, hence my long trigger to avoid that is 34.7. So it's not there yet, but it's headed that way. So keep an eye on NKLA if it takes out 34.7. NEO, we sold the exact freaking top at 1990. And then I said to go short at 19.7, which it's almost there. So for the bears in the house, you may want to take a shot at a short at 19.7. Maximum cover stop would be 20, right? That would be the price that proves an attempted short wrong. But the main story of this was the successful breakout alert at 19.4 and the sell at 19.90, right? That was a perfect round trip, or up near 19.90, wherever it was. So 19.4 was good. Again, this guy's a short under 167, it's a 166.80. You'd have to use 169 as the maximum cover stop. DraftKings is up almost 3% on the day. I called the long for you at 47.7 and I said to sell at the 49, which was perfect. Next long would be 50.20. You may only hit a short of 48.30. It's your thing, Felix. INO is up too. It's kind of confusing. We have two tickers with the same letters, NEO, NIO, and then INO. That's a nice breakout chart. That's a nice well-mannered chart. I'd use 1260 as a long trigger for that. So some nice early wins under our belt. Always good to have a good, successful first half hour. We'll see where things run moving forward. Dutch long call was 1630. It started to run up. If not in yet, I would still buy 1630. If you're still in, that's fine. I'm gonna buy 1630 or 1640, either one, and use 1560 as a maximum stop. 16 if you're on size, but if you're trading small test trades like I do, I'd use 15.6, the low of day. But anyway, 1630 long, stop at 16 for half the trade and 1560 on the rest. You can notice that this one did a mean reversion pullback, right? It did a nice run up and a pullback to the midpoint, 50% retracement to 1190. And then it bounced up here to retest the new high. That's a very common pattern, both mean reversions and ascending triangles and cups and all the rest of it. Market's trying to drop. Let's see where we're at. I want to see if UVXY gets a little price action because we're at the 10 o'clock pivot zone. Remember, the market often pivots near 10 o'clock. So we're slightly after 10 o'clock, and we're starting to see a little bit of pullback in the market. Nothing real strong yet, but a good hedge would be long at UVXY and SQs if they do take out new highs of the day. Let's use 2010 as our long trigger for UVXY today. And the hard stop, the price that proves that wrong, would be 19.7. So I'm setting up an order to buy myself at 2010. Remember, it's always a good idea to have defensive counter trend hedges, meaning long plays and then versus lined up in case the market decides it wants to drop. Speaking of which, we always want to check in on the stock market. You can see these spiders is failing to take out new 10 o'clock highs. Remember that data point too. It's a descending tops up there too, so it's a little bearish. Always evaluate the market, not only on the pre-market gap, but also, of course, the first few minutes of the open, but also near 10 o'clock. Are we failing to take out new highs? And if so, it may make sense to play the inverse side of it. And the most sensitive instrument that captures that bearish reversal is going to be UVXY. I'll be buying over 20.10, and I've got a hard stop set at 19.7, which is a day's low on UVXY. Not a great chart. INO is a much better chart. Currently getting close to the 1260. Now, quick note, this kind of chart, a straight blind momentum breakout is not very good because we could be buying the high, right? The smarter approach is to wait for a move above a pullback. So hopefully we'll get a pullback here. I don't see one coming here, but the 1260 would be valid if we get a red candle, a pullback, a bull flag, a little cut pattern, a topping tail like that. Okay, that's good. That's enough of a pullback test. Okay, so I feel warm and fuzzy now about 1260. See how we got the pullback right under 1260? That's great. Now, if it breaks on through to the other side over 1260, it may be a good play. So keep an eye on INO long over 1260. Hard stop would be, say, 1230. Try and keep your stops no further than 30, 40 cents. Hey, Harold, thanks, man. Let's see, PCG. Trader asking about. Let us take a look, sir. PCG, trader request. Let's pull up the chart and take a look. Yeah, that's a great chart. That's good. That looks good. That's a classic 40. I would buy the 980. I'd just play a straight breakout. Good chart. Nice 45-degree angle break. That's a perfect setup. It looks good. Beautiful looking chart. 980 makes sense, and then a hard stop at 960, right? Yeah, good chart. Thanks. It's clean. It's got a nice, even though it's only got a 50 or 60 cent range, so it doesn't have a significant range. So that's the fail on this would be it doesn't have a really big range to be excited about. It's, you know, yesterday the whole trading range is only 60 cents, so that'd be the minus, is not enough range. But the chart pattern looks great over 980. So thank you for that. And again, INO long over 1260, it's almost up there. MRNS, our 330 long is still in the money. trail a break-even stop on it. NEO, our 19.4 long call ran all the way up to 1990 for you. And again, next long in NEO is 2020. Looks like the 19.7 short hit. I would use 20 as a maximum cover stop, no more than a 30-cent stop loss. Nickel is shaken and bacon. 34.7 is the long trigger, which has not yet hit. 31.30 is a short trigger, which has not yet hit. Roku, nice move up and down. PCG, keep 980 on the radar. DraftKings, nice move up and down. If you want to take a shot at it again, the first breakout worked out nicely from 47.7. We got out. We're looking for a new play. I would go in at, say, 48.20. Been shaking around, so is Sava. Let's use 720 as a long for this. And actually slightly more likely would be a short at, say, 6.4. UVXY is lighting it up. 2010 is my long trigger. I may well get stopped out. I've got an order set to buy it myself. I always buy this thing on bounces. Put in an order to buy is 30 or 40 shares. I don't know, I only got a partial at 3 shares, but anyway, 2010's along and 19.7 would be the maximum stop on that. Now I don't like this bounce play because it didn't pull back right under the 2010, which I wanted to see was a pullback again, a bullish, a bearish upper shadow or bullish cup or a pennant. So that 2010 may stop. If you're on size, I'd stop out at 20. I'm using, I think it's down at 19.7. Let me check my trade workstation here. Yeah, 19.7. So it looks like I got the fill, just 40 shares. This is kind of a low odds play, but it's a bullish cup, right? The previous left side of the cup is that little peak at 2010. Hence our long trigger 2010 just now. SQQQ, long alert is imminent at 24.15. It's still a kind of butt ugly looking downtrending gap down runner chart. Trying to do a little dead cat bounce. Bad kitty. But if you're in this thing, put a hard stop at 23.7. Long trigger that I'm using is 24.15, and we're headed that way. You'll see my order fill confirmation once we get over 24.15. Which it's trying to do. Tape is more green than red, right? So you can see the transaction flow. The question is, does it go up to the 13, the 14, the 15, or does it crash back down under the 10? Kind of on the razor's edge there, right? With 24.10 is the key support resistance tape level. The long trigger is 24.15. And I've got my order to buy over 24.15 with a hard stop at 23.90. Huh, okay, I'm playing it tight then. So once I get the fill over 24.15, if I do, if price goes up to 24.15, means in 23.90 it's a hard stop. So relatively conservative. I'm still in a little SPXL. Looks like I bought the high a day. It won't be the last time. The tweezer top up there at 55.7. It pulled back down. It's still in a directional uptrend, so I may well take that out later. MRNS, I wish I'd traded more than a single share, right? That's what I meant, right? Yeah, it's a little tiny with a $1 trailing stop from 330. That's where I bought it. You saw the trade confirmation. It's a 50-cent winner so far, almost 60 cents. If you're still in, trail a stop at say 370. Always trail stops at the nearest 10-cent get off the bus level, right? So we got in at 330. It would have been fine to sell it at 350, which is fine. And rebuy over 370, like I said. Now that we're up at 380, let's trail a stop at 370. I started this guy off at the full $1 trailing stop. I'm going to tighten that into a 20-cent trailing stop, which I fully expect to hit sooner rather than later. About some SQs. Okay. I'm tightening up the trailing stop on this to 20 cents. That's another strategy. I started off here with the full, like I'm doing regardless of price for a lot of these things with like a $1 trailing stop. I got in at 330. Now that it ran up to a key resistance area, I tightened up the trailing stop from $1 to 20 cents, which I fully expect will hit, if it drops back down here. Locking in a small profit for me. Come on, UVXY and SQs, you guys can do it. I told you that would be a good pivot, right? It pivoted right off the 2380. I got a protective stop at 2390. So at most I'll take a 25-cent stop on 40 shares, which is under $10, I think, right? So if it goes wrong, it's a $10 hit. If it goes right, I'm going to use it to feed a swing trade and scale in. It's still in a downtrend though, right? Next long would be 2430. Thanks, Albert. Yeah, next long SQ is 2430. That's your next long. Waking the blank up. I know. I said to go long at 1260. If you got in, congratulations. You're in the Calhoun zone. I'm on fire today, right? I haven't had too much coffee, so I'm a little low key and low energy, but knocking out of the park for you guys with alerts. Really good performance. Look at the percentage of how many winning alerts I had. Huge. Anyway, 1260, the long trigger. Use a break even stop. Rebuy over 1310. Use a break even exit, because whenever you buy something, quick tip, when you get into things that are in the 0.6, 0.78, oftentimes you may see a reversal at a whole number. So use a break even stop wherever possible. I got you in at 1260. We're currently 14 cents in the money. Trail a stop at break even at 1260 on INO. Charge, pendejo. Yosh. That means like fucking A in Japanese. Yosh. Handalay pendejo. Let's keep going. 1310's the next one. I got you guys in at 1260. Boom. Nailed it. Cha-ching. MRNS. Nailed it. Cha-ching. Neo. Nailed it. Cha-ching. Nicola. Haven't nailed it yet, but we'll see. 10 also good plays in this guy. Kind of zigzagging up and down here lately. DraftKings, the pivot long was epic. It worked out really good. 48.30, the short call too, also worked out. We played both sides of the mountain. I got you guys long at 47.7, out near the 49, and then flipped to short. Call was 48.30. Now that we're at support near 47 and change, I would trail a cover stop at 47.30. So you lock in a $1 win on the short. Boom. Just on fire today. Fire. Sava the long is 720. It hasn't done that yet. But keep this Sava chart on the radar. I got stopped out trying to buy the frickin' bounce. I was so right. I bought 100 shares at like 625. Got stopped out near break even like 615 or something. I was using a tight ass trailing stop and I got shaken out in the middle of the day there. And then of course it ran $2 without me in the afternoon. Pissed me off, but hey. Getting shaken out of trades is part of the game. That's MRNS, baby, boom. I got in at 330. If you did too, congratulations, you're 54 cents in the money. Like I am. I have a 20-cent trailing stop that still hasn't hit, so that's cool. Meantime, the market is selling down like a son of a gun. If you're not in UVXY, next long would be 20.20. Mark, that's our next long would be 2020 on UVXY. Dust I called long at 1630. Dust in the Wind, a song by the group called Kansas. All we are is dust in the wind. Well, let's see if our inverse gold is going to continue to race up to new highs. DUST long trigger on this guy was 1630, and it's starting to work out. We'll see if we can get the party started. Next long would be 1660. I want it to get over the 1650 midpoint resistance. Boom, flawless victory. Trail a stop at break even. I got you in at 24.15. Get back out at 24.15 if it says exit stage left, yikes, and goes back down again. We're playing with the house's money a little bit. It's up fractionally. This is kind of like the critical decision-making skill that most traders fudge up is they fork it up because they're like, well, it's starting to bounce. Surely it'll run to 26. No, Sparky, it could surely run down to 23. So in from 24.15 is great, but always, always manage your exit. Always your exfil. You got a hot LZ, we got tangos inbound at 24.30 on the ask, so we'll see if it keeps going up. But if it goes down, sell it out at 24.15 at our entry, or 24.10 where we got in it. Next long would be 24.4. Next long, S triple Q is 24.40. Market's kind of ambivalent today. It's slightly, well, it's break even. It's right near zero. It started the day on an uptick and then sold off after 10 o'clock, 10:15, dropping down to the support near 341. So the market gave back its earlier gains and it's still in a bear cup uptrend. As a trader, I want you to trade markets first and stocks and ETFs second. Understand what the market's doing. It's in an indeterminate, choppy, bouncing off support level. Now, if it loses 340.40, that's a key major support level for today. That's a previous day's high. If it loses 340.40, that's where you'd want to scale into inverses. Right now, we're still in an indeterminate zone. Biggest percent gain winner of the day, MRNS. I'm still long myself, and I got a 20-cent trailing stop on it. Now, 20-cent trailing stop, you may ask yourself, I always like to run these sessions like they're my live Las Vegas in-person seminars. If you and I were together at the MGM Grand in a nice large conference room and we got dozens of traders from around the world, I would be having you do breakout, like turn to the trader next to you and talk about A, B, and C. The point is, on this price chart with this range, a 20-cent trailing stop is 100% appropriate for a day trader. Now, if you are doing large size, scalping thousands of shares, you use something like 7 to 10 cents. You'd play really super tight. But if you're trading small, relatively small size, less than a few hundred shares or less than 1,000 shares, 20 cents as a trailing stop would make perfect sense. I got us in at 330. We got nearly 70 cents out of it. Whole number resistance, exit target accomplished. New traders, sell it all right now. Boom. And the reason is because we hit the 0.9. New traders, and by new, I mean, you determine for yourself what your experience level is. I would say new is anybody less than 10 years experience. Always get into the habit of selling the 0.8s and 0.9s right under whole numbers, because you almost always get at least a pullback or a squawk, is particularly for the cheap charts near whole numbers. So new traders, sell it all now right here. Experienced traders, trail a stop at 3.8 on it. So experienced traders, stay the course long with a hard stop. Sell half of it now. If you're still in, that's great, like I am. Sell half the shares now and trail a stop at 380 on the balance. That's good. The one cheap chart of the day, we knocked it out of the park. I called it long when it was down at balance. And again, Calhoun's whole number strategy. I said to go long there. Notice plays the box trading range. That's a very successful day trading call. Even though I abhor these cheap ass horrible charts, I still knocked it out of the park for you. You buy right above a whole number. Now in this case, I had us wait till 330 because that's right above that 320, which is that previous little low there. So I said, wait till 330 and we'll see if it gets some buyers. That's where I bought it. And I got a 20-cent trailing stop, which is about to hit, and you'll see the confirmation and the trade window pop up in momentarily. Anyway, now is sell, 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 sell. You understand the whole number strategy. You buy right above a whole number, you sell right into the nearest whole number. So we got in at 330, out at 390, 380, wherever up here is fine. And in case you have a case of FOMO, the fear of missing out, which I have daily myself, the next long would be 420, because who says 4 is it? Maybe it runs to 6. But more likely, maybe it runs to 410, then crashes back down to 3.5. That would be, frankly, my more, how to say, my projection of what would be more likely to occur. So when in doubt, cash it out, and you're done here. That's the whole number strategy. You're buying right above whole number, selling into resistance right below the nearest whole number. Well, thanks, Harold, on the heads up. Trader asking about TCON, as in Tango Charlie Oscar November, TCON. Tango Charlie Oscar November. Nah. That looks like the kind of chart other chat rooms would cover. We don't like this kind of chart. I mean, it's maybe over 510. And so I sold MRNS for a profit. I was in at 1330 or 330 and out at 377. Again, just a single share trade, but illustrated a 47-cent win. Boom, nailed it. This one I wouldn't trade though, sorry. Doesn't have that look, I want to know better. If it was a woman I was dating, I would not call her back. Don't hate the player, hate the game, baby. What do we got going on here? NIO, on the other hand, is taking out new highs. 19.4 was my long trigger. We're currently up at 2020. Thanks, Raj, for the heads up on that. It's the chart that keeps paying, right? We're in at 1940 out. And again, the whole number strategy, we're out at right under the 20 up there in 19, wherever I called the exit up near 19.8. Rebuy over 2020, but again, and it just triggered, so I guess we're in. And I'm not trading that one. I'm not trading this one live because this was a trader pick, but would have worked out great. 19.4 is a long call. I wish I had time to take all my picks because they're so freaking genius. If you got in at 65.7, my bounce long call, congratulations, you're up over $1.50. 65.7 was a long call. Trail a stop at the 67 whole number pullback region. So if you bought 65.7, you're up over $1.50 now, which is epic. Another winner. But again, the more important part of the equation is the exit. Exits are infinitely more important than entries. Entry was a great call and it ran up nicely, but taking profit before the market takes it back, that's the trick, right? So trail a stop at 67, that makes sense, right? Now, personally, I would not be chasing another long up here. Actually, I do have a trigger at 67.7. That had been my earlier long trigger, and I've got an actual trade set up for that, so that's where it's got. So I'll get a fill at 6. So his next long would be 67.7, but I'm a little skeptical about that one. The main thing is because of lateness of the day, we're at 10:30 and the market's pulled back. NIO is a rock star. I know I called 1260 long. If you took it, congrats. It pulled back to that entry, so maybe a scratch trade if you sold it out at the entry. If not, it's still running up. Next long would be 1320. NIO and INO both going up. Not that that's confusing with almost the same ticker letters in reverse, but anyway, INO and NIO, EIEIO, they're running up. MRNS, I sold into the pullback with the 20-cent trailing stop. Successful trade, and that was good. Next long would be anywhere over 4, say 410, 420. Bought me a little pin there. I don't really like that entry because it's kind of late. The main thing I don't like is it's stale in terms of lateness of the day. I got a really big $3 trail stop just with a single share. So it'll give it all the way down to 66, 65, 64, 50. That's fine. It's almost at the support level. Main thing is, as long as it holds anywhere over 66, it should be good for a move later in the session. INO continues to skyrocket. I got you in at 1260. And again, next long would be anywhere over 1310, 1320 up here. Well, I should say 1320. Like I said earlier, it's starting to break out. But again, we don't like to chase things that are running up. It'd be best to see a little pullback like we saw earlier and then a resumption of the trend. But it's a baller chart as usual. Trail a stop at 1320. Sell some now for a profit. New traders, newbies, I want you guys to sell it all now. I know it's going up. That's kind of a hint. Exit stage left, exit into buyers. You always want to sell into buyers where your order flow and your slippage is going to be in your favor as a goal. So new traders sell it all. Experienced traders trail a stop at 1320 on INO. Another win. This guy got us out in the nick of time at 390. Was the call. Pin lit it up, but it's starting to pull back here a bit. Sava 7.2. So I'm canceling my early order and replacing it with the 721. So I replaced it with an order to go long right there at 720. That's because that's like a bear cup reversal. It's still in a downtrend here today, so I don't go long yet. But it is consolidating down here in this little congestion zone right here. So a long over 720 makes sense because it's a pop above that double top. Exit target would be, say, 780. Ba-da-dum-ba-dum, charge. I bought 2010. Did you guys buy 2010? I hope you did, because if you did, you're in the money. Flawless victory. I hope I'm still in. Let's see. We got a hard stop at 19.7. That's going to get tightened way the fuck up. Let's. Tighten a trailing stop on this puppy to 20.3. 2010 was a genius call, right? Muhaha. So I'm canceling my earlier loose ass trail stop and replacing it with a profitable exit at 2030. So I bought 2010. It's only 40 shares, but so I canceled the initial loose stop. That's my strategy. You put it here with the big ass stop, was way down here. Then once it starts running in your favor, then you tighten up a trail stop to lock in a profit. So I'll be exiting my winning UVXY if it gets back down to 2030. You guys could rebuy over, say, 2060 would be a new long, or even 2040 if you want to play it aggressively. But I'm going to sell at 2030. You'll see the order confirmation, no doubt, coming up momentarily. Unless, hopefully, it finds support right now and keeps running up for me. But I don't mind taking a quick 20-cent profit. A win is a win is a win, and I'll take it. And I just sold it, so. Locked in a price, and again, it has a topping tail there near the 24, so this makes perfect sense for an exit. Does everyone see why you buy the dip, sell the rip? I got us in at 2010 out here. Again, it's not a big $1 or $2 win, but still, it feeds the kitty, and any winning trade is good. So I got you guys in at 2010, and I sold right here myself. You might want to do the same in your demo account. I trade live, but anyway, next long, hit any new, I would hit any new high. Or if it sells down to like 20 and then bounces, go long again at 2010. If it keeps going up in a few minutes, go long or say, I would play it tight. I would do a momentum strategy in this because of the strength of the uptick. So 2045 would be the next long, 20.45 the next long. Anyway, live real money trades, and hopefully you guys are doing good. I got us in here at 24.15. I have a hard stop set at 23.90. I think I'm going to leave it there because it's only a handful of shares, just 40 shares. But SQQQ 24.15 starting to work out. I would hit it again, like right now, over say 24.40 if it keeps going up. And then again over 24.7. Oh, that's good. But believe it or not, my protective stop on my overnight hold in this, that's the slightly underwater here, is the 23.7, and that never hit, so that's good. Dodged a bullet. That was, missed it by that much. Dun 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 dun. To quote Maxwell Smart from Get Smart, the brilliant comedy series from Mel Brooks and all that back in the 60s. Agent 96, Jaime the robot, chaos. Choose your destiny, flawless victory. I got us in at 24.15, baby. Now, seriously, go through and audit my performance. Look at every single freaking alert and see what the percentage of wins would be. I'm sure it's well over 70, 80%. And I can't say I'm sure because I didn't calculate it, but I'm confident that it's a high number anyway. And I hope that you did well today, right? There's another good day here at Trading Open, coming at you live from Colorado here on September 15th, 2020. This is an inverse head and shoulders type pattern in formation. Next long would be 24.7, then 25.20 in SQQQs. I got us long and I bought it right here at 24.15. Survived the subsequent little shake and I'm in the money. In fact, I'm going to play a tight game with all these instruments. I'm tightening up the trailing stop now to 24.30 on this. So I'm guaranteed a profit. I'm in from 15. So I canceled the initial loose stop, which was lower, and tightened it up to 24.30. All right, well, good charts, traders. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. We had another winning session here at Trading Open. Do remember to upgrade to the annual package at just $9.97 for a year if you're not yet an annual. If you're a monthly member or trial member, upgrade to annual. You have my word. I work my very best to not only do real trades most days, but also get you on the right side of things. I probably sold my UVXY a little too soon. INO was a legendary breakout. I got you in starting at 1260. It ran up to 14. MRNS, I got you in at 330 and out at 390. NEO, I got you in at 19.4. Ran up, 80 cents. So anyway, that's how you're supposed to day trade, right? Is those kind of charts and that type of price action and intelligent approach to step-by-step walkthroughs. And thanks to all of you for the kind words. I don't read off all the comments out loud. There's too many, but I do appreciate the kudos and hey, Jose, rock on too, man. A question, is it dangerous from a trader? Is it dangerous to trade after a split announcement? No, I wouldn't worry about it. I don't know what instrument you're talking about. I generally don't like trading the first day or two after a split, things like Apple or Tesla or whatever. I wouldn't trade the day or two after the split because I want to see what price action patterns emerge after the post. That's a smart question. Thank you very much. After the split, you want to see what the newly established price average true range is, the open range breakout length of run, the depth of cut patterns, when it runs, how far does it run, all that kind of stuff. You want to see a couple of days of representative sample data. So it's fine to trade after splits and reverse splits, but I usually generally wait a couple of days after that so I can see. Again, I use the 2-day chart and I want to give the traders an opportunity. Looks like I'm back out of SQs. Okay. I was in at 24.15 out of 24.30. Yeah, small profit in the SQs trade as well. Anyway, so it's a smart idea to wait a couple of days after a split or anything or after an earnings release gap or whatever. I always trade the day of earnings release gaps, but for splits, you like to wait a day or two. And again, MRNS, next long would be anywhere over 4, say 410. Pin gaming skyrocketing on up to new highs. Our long call was 65.7. It's up over $2 from that call. Next long would be 68.4 if it gets up over that. What we'd want to see is some consolidation or pullback near the 68, maybe a false breakout to 68.20 and then a drop to 67.5 and then a run on up. Anyway, 68.40 would be the play for a secondary long in pin gaming. It's your thing. Let's see. Thanks, Jose's asking about knee. Let's take a look. November Echo Echo. Interesting, but I don't have an edge in that. I don't see long over 303 would be the play that I would take. That'd be the only thing, because it's kind of chopping around. I mean, you can try scalping in over 297, but I wouldn't because I don't see a strong setup. It is a gapper though. It is a nice gap, but it's kind of directionless in terms of the trend. It gapped up, then it sold down, then it did a nice bounce, and it sold back down again. It's kind of cycling up and down. But I'd wait for experienced traders long over 297 or short under 294. And then again, long over 303. Anyway, let's wrap up. Thanks everyone for being here. Appreciate it. And again, tradingtheopen.com, you may want to upgrade to the annual package while it's still on sale. Thanks for being here.